Hello everyone. Hi, this is Rahul, your Filmy Banya. And today is a very, very interesting day, a very interesting discussion for all of us. Today is going to be what can be referred to as a very, very landmark moment in pop culture movement in India, at least. We can talk of that. This is our first ever panel discussion in India on Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Zack Snyder's Justice League is the remake of the original Justice League movie, which released in 2017 in India also, flopped badly, is now being remade because of a major fan movement across the planet. We have been seeing this happening across pop culture, but we have never seen such a cataclysmic event wherein millions and millions of dollars have been pumped into re-releasing a movie. और जैसा कहते हैं कि एक ऐसी ये मोमेंट है फैंस के लिए, डीसी कॉमिक्स और मार्वल कॉमिक्स वालों के लिए भी फॉर दैट मैटर, क्योंकि उनके लिए भी एक ये वेकअप कॉल होगा कि उनके कुछ अगर अंडर एक्सप्लॉइटेड कार्टून कैरेक्टर्स हैं, जिसे लोग इंडिया में कहते हैं नॉट कॉमिक बुक कैरेक्टर्स, दे कॉल देम कार्टून कैरेक्टर्स, इज दैट दे कैन कम ओवर टू द फोल्ड एंड री-रिलीज देयर कंटेंट and realize the full potential of something like a superhero. So today's discussion is very interesting. We are being joined by a very, very eminent panel. We are being joined by a host of from people from different, I would say all these guys are different stakeholders in a movement like this. So I'm very, very happy to introduce to you Shivaji Paul. He is the founder of the DC community. Hi, guys. Paul. He's joining us from Calcutta. And then we have Chetan Saj, who's joining us from Kerala. He's the largest DC Comics club in India, fans club, running into more than 20,000 fans and more than 6,000-7,000 fans on Instagram. And then we have Aniruddha Chakraborty, who's our old dear friend, part of Comic Con India, director of Chariot Comics and lover of comics. And then we have the Jatin Verma, our friend, the torchbearer of pop culture in India, the founder of Comic Cons, and the man whose efforts in last 10 years. And a big, big congratulations to you, Jatin, on the completion of 10 years of Comic Con India. A big congratulations from Film.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you.
He has been single-handedly pushing that cause. And last but not the least is Regan Gavin Reskina, our co-editor here at Filmy Banya and a leading Mumbai journalist. And he has been, sort of an expert in reviewing movies for many years. So we have a very balanced panel here in which we have the Comic-Con people who know how these products sell and what is the ecosystem of fans when it comes to superheroes. We have the fan club founders who will talk about their love for passion for content. So we have DC Fans Kerala and DC Community of Bengal. And we have Aniruddha, who himself is an artist as well as a comic book geek. And more importantly, we have a very balanced panel. We are looking at various perspectives onto this unique event of Zack Snyder's Justice League. So we're going to start our discussion. And just to tell you, I'm going to give you a small brief idea. ये क्या चीज है Zack Snyder का Justice League? So 2017 में पहली जस्टिस लीग रिलीज हुई वर्ल्ड वाइड. उससे पहले आप ये देखेंगे कि जैक स्नाइडर को वार्नर ब्रदर्स ने 3 पिक्चरों का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दिया था. पहली फिल्म थी मैन ऑफ स्टील, सेकंड वाज बैटमैन वर्सेस सुपरमैन डॉन ऑफ जस्टिस एंड थर्ड वाज जस्टिस लीग, अ ट्रिलॉजी. नाउ यू हैव टू रिमेंबर बिफोर दिस देयर वाज द क्रिस्टोफर नोलन 3 फिल्म्स, बैटमैन बिगिंस, डार्क नाइट राइजेस, द डार्क नाइट एंड देन डार्क नाइट राइजेस. So what happened was just 3 months before not 3 months, I think sometime before the release of the movie, Zack Snyder lost his child. And because of that, what happened was that there was a big depression in his entire setup, and he left the production midway of of Justice League. And that's when Warner Brothers and DC Comics hired Joss Whedon, who's the director of Avengers from Marvel, which is the competing brand of DC, and he made a new Justice League in which not even 10-20% of the original vision of Zack Snyder was captured. So now what happens is that because of and the movie went off, and it was a $300 million disaster, $300 million budget. The movie was not doing well. मतलब बुरा हाल हो गया, पिक्चर बुरी तरह पिट गई all over the world. And लोगों को लगा कि एवेंजर्स के यूनिवर्स में जहां एक-एक एवेंजर्स फिल्म $1.5-2 बिलियन का बिजनेस करती है, यहाँ ये $600-700 million पे ही सिमट गई पूरी तरह. So a lot of fans were really craving for this, and millions of people across the world were chanting that we need to see the original cut of Zack Snyder. And voila, what happened in the pandemic, somewhere around the pandemic started, Warner Brothers gave in to the request of the fans. This is the first time ever we have seen such a big motion picture being re-released because of fans. So you can apply your mind. Let's say if some fans were not happy with the first Godfather, they went on to Twitter, they spammed the entire studio, okay, we need to see the Godfather again. And then Coppola comes again and makes the Godfather again. Of course, that's not going to happen, but still, I'm talking about कि इसका कितना बड़ा एक इफेक्ट है. तो इंडिया में हम इस रिलीज को कैसे देख रहे हैं, इस पूरे प्रोजेक्ट को कैसे देख रहे हैं, ये हमारा पैनल का आज फोकस है. We're going to talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League, and we're going to talk about the various events and facets around this entire project. So, guys, we're going to start with our first question, and we'll start. Our first question is why the need to restore Justice League, a deep dive into that. And I'm going to start with Jatin. Please give your comments.
So your question is why the need to give Zack Snyder his own cut?
Yes.
I think it's partly because there was a lot of public pressure, because he was pretty public about the fact that what he thought the movie would turn out to be would be very different than what it was, and it seemed like a very choppily put together movie. It seemed like things were cut out. It literally looked like it was edited in that manner. And I think they also kind of felt that there was the whole idea of their DC extended movie universe didn't really pan out. Because I mean, even if the Zack Snyder cut comes out, there is no. I mean, we know there's going to be a Wonder Woman trilogy, but there is no DC universe anymore. There's a new Batman coming in, and they plan to do another throwback where the older Batman's also coming. But I mean, it's I don't know what they're planning. But the other reason, which I personally believe is one of the main ones, is because there was public pressure, and also they were launching HBO Max. So why not launch HBO Max with something so gigantic and spend money, because this would get a lot of eyeballs to that new app. So I mean, it's kind of made business sense for them, I guess.
Okay, interesting. Aniruddha, what's your point of view on this?
And I think Jatin actually picked up on two key points here. I think the reason, it's public pressure and then HBO Max. Now, the way I look at it is, it's not, is it a new movie? Is it the same movie restored? Because if you're reshooting and pumping in a lot of money, you're just fixing your mistakes, which probably were there in the original cut, and why it had to be, streamlined into someone else's vision. So for me, this is actually an entirely new movie, which is being streamed on HBO Max. This is not, Justice League director's cut or Justice League Snyder's cut. It's Justice League. Let's redo it. Let's fix our mistakes, right? But in context now, yes, the public pressure was tremendous. So obviously people wanted to see the cut. Now, the way Zack Snyder has been single-handedly pushing Vero as a platform, social media platform, because he's probably the only guy there on that social media platform.
I saw that.
HBO Max as well, right? I think and I hope the movie turns out well, but given that public pressure, he's sort of I think he's redoing everything. He's just like, tere se sun leta hu, and now let's make a new movie and be done with it. Because again, finally, like also Jatin said, does this connect into the DCEU? No. Is the DCEU? We don't know. Like the extended universe, right? And there's also Flashpoint coming, as far as we know, which is going to reset everything. So, I mean, what is the point of this except to launch a streaming platform, which is not international at this point? And I guess we can come to that later. Discussion.
Fascinating. So just to give a small break. So my view, guys, before I ask Regan to give his views.
No. I don't have any view. The only view I have is income and commerce.
Okay, interesting. Fair enough. So how I see
I mean, it's I'm a student of economics and commerce.
We can't see you. Can you be a little more visible to us, please? Yeah.
I don't know. It's. I mean, people were hugely disappointed with the original film, and I saw it about 3 times, not just at the official film screening, but also I saw it at a morning show twice. Um, and like I had mentioned to Rahul, like someone, a young mother had asked me, like, um, should I take my little toddler to this film? I said, no, 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 please don't do that. Justice League is not the kind of film that you want to take a toddler to. You, he'll probably get nightmares for like 3 weeks. But then on the other hand, one also has friends who are hugely into this, and who understand the entire kind of history, geography, chronology of all of this. And there's something very interesting. We have Ramayana, Mahabharata, and the Bible and so on, but the West, they have their entire social anthropological history based on the MCU and DC. It's a very interesting anthropological kind of perspective on all of this. I mean, and we can deep dive into all of this, and this movie is just a little dip in the ocean.
Okay. So the idea is that there are multiple reasons. Now, according to, for example, Jatin feels his perspective is that there is a bigger bigger force at play. Then even Aniruddha is saying that HBO Max is one of the reasons. HBO Max ho sakta hai. And some people feel it is very choppily made, and some people are calling it a CGI mess. So there are different perspectives. Now let's go to the fan community. Now, largely me, Aniruddha, Jatin, and we are speaking from our perspective. We are also fans. Don't get us wrong. But I would like to now go to Chetan from Chetan. You're joining us from
Kerala.
Calicut,
Kerala.
You're joining us from
Calicut.
You're joining us from Calicut. Welcome.
Calicut.
Chetan,
Thank
you
you.
are running the largest DC fans group in India. Just give us a small half a second story about your group, DC Kerala.
We started during the year 2019, like 4 months before the initial Joker release. And from the first 3 months, we were able to get almost 1,000 followers within a few 3 months. And for us, that's a great achievement. And later, we just followed the news about DC and WB, and we were able to put the news to the fans on the current events. And later, we got messages from to the inbox that they want to join our WhatsApp group. And like that, that's how we started our first WhatsApp group. And now we have almost 6 WhatsApp group, 5 DC fans in Kerala from Calicut, and 1 from DC International. That's people from mostly the people from DC International groups are from Middle East and African countries. And it's just the victory of our is just that we are organizing. We have active members, admins that have a special task in building up our community, like selected people for maintaining the Instagram and Facebook, and some people for Twitter.
So we have limited time, Chetan. Just tell us how many fans are there right now in DC Kerala?
Right now in our WhatsApp group, we have 5 groups, and almost each groups are full. Let's say about nearly 800 in our WhatsApp group, and we have 6,000. We are nearing 7,000 in our Instagram followers, and 20,000 active Facebook community members.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Superb. Great. So now tell us, Chetan, what do you think? Why do you think Justice League needs to be re-released?
Because like you said in the earlier, you said that Justice League is going to be remade. I just disagree with you. It's not a remake. Like the original version was the one shot by Snyder was the original one. Went and remade it. So I couldn't agree with you that you just said that it's a remake.
Fair enough. See, what I'm saying is, so Chetan is saying it was not good enough. And as Aniruddha said, that I also see the way you look at it is only just 10% of the original movie came out, and you pump in $70 million to reshoot. They had 1 month of shooting schedule in October 2020 with all these big actors we are talking about. तो एक level तक वो नई film almost hai. मतलब we cannot just run away from that fact. And basic maths, 2 घंटे की फिल्म थी जो रिलीज हुई पहली, और अब 4 hours, it is a 4-hour movie. So we are talking about 100% more content. So we have to agree that this is a new movie to a certain level. Yes. I mean, yeah, but technically Chetan is right. The original vision was of Snyder. But when you keep into perspective of the 2017 release, this is a totally new movie. That's what we are coming to.
Can I add something?
Yes.
The initial plan of Zack Snyder was it's a Justice League trilogy. Like this Superman was supposed to resurrect in the second part. Like the news, I heard read some article regarding that. So it's like the original plan was a trilogy regarding Justice League. So in a short period of time, we need to add these all 3 movies into one. That's why we can say that he's taking a 4-hour long film. Like adding up all the 3 movies into single movie, we can say that like that.
Okay. Thank you, Chetan. Now I would like to go to our friend Shibaji Paul, the founder of the DC community of Bengal. And I've been part of DC community of Bengal for almost a year, and I'm seeing the passion of these people. And there are a lot of computer programmers and guys working in Infosys and TCS, guys who are really passionate about technology and art. And please, Shibaji, please tell us very briefly about your group and your views on Justice League, why it should be remade.
Thank you, Rahul, for introducing me. So basically, DC Community of Bengal was established on December 2019. The focus of this community was to create and unite a fan club, which will unite the fan base from West Bengal. Because we wanted to, study DC Comics and everything, and do fan reviews, fan-made trailers, everything in Bengali language, in our mother tongue. So we wanted to form a group. So we started forming a group, a Facebook group, and gradually the group became larger, and we decided to create a Facebook page, which is now having a follower of almost around 20K, and it is followed by worldwide audience. Okay. So we also ventured into YouTube recently, and we have 800 plus subscribers on our list, and there we regularly update a lot of analysis video, a trailer review video, comic related discussion video. Also we host live discussion sessions.
But
like
if I gather, Shibaji, from your perspective, most of your communication is in Bengali, right?
Yes, most of the communication is in Bengali, but we are also comfortable with English also. But mainly to unite the fans from our state. So we primarily focus to do our communication in Bengal.
Perfect.
Okay.
So great. So guys, we have had a very, very interesting answers to this. Now, the next point I want to discuss in this discussion is basically, with something very, very important, something which is very, very pertinent. And, as this whole movement is moving forward, there are some real, interesting points. How is this a unique fan movement? We are talking about fans influencing the release of a massive, massive film. Now, it is said that after this whole movie is released, $380 million would have been spent on Justice League. This makes it the most expensive movie of all times. So I don't know, inflation adjustment, which one is more expensive, कि कौन सी और इससे महंगी फिल्म है. लेकिन जतिन, मैं आपसे ये बात करना चाहूँगा कि ये मतलब how is this a unique fan moment? You have been dealing with Comic-Con, you've been dealing fans day in, day out. So how do you think, is it a unique moment for fans? What is your view on that?
I just want to correct you. I don't know if 380 million would be the right amount, because that doesn't sound like a huge amount for superhero films. So it might be a lot more. It is a unique thing because, there was a whole movement around Snyder and people wanting to see his vision of that movie. Look, I'll be very honest. He's a very divisive fellow. I don't necessarily, I don't think Batman vs Superman was done properly, and it was honestly a good film, which is why after the Superman Man of Steel, which had some issues, but those were very fan-based issues, but Batman vs Superman was clearly panned also. So, but at the same time, it was a personal tragedy in his life, which led to him not being able to finish his vision of what he wanted to do with the films. And I also know that he was I mean, there was a lot of pressure on making sure that the Justice League film is not previewed in the same manner as Batman versus Superman. Uh, but it, things like this end up creating sort of a cult status for a lot of things. And that happens very often. And this is certainly one of them where fans were really connected to him on a personal level
Yeah.
because of how he, comes off as. I mean, as a filmmaker, and whether you like his movies or not, you still can respect that bit that he's invested into them on a personal level, and he has a vision for it, which he wants to execute. And I think because it was, there was a lot of bad blood, maybe, or I don't know, maybe misinformation or whatever, where you kind of are confused about why he left it and why couldn't he just come back later and finish it and release the movie later, whatever it is. So that created a whole movement for people saying release the Snyder Cut. And it was a movement, and it was organic, and it is a set of people across the world who just wanted to see his vision of it. And that was something we saw in India also, because I would see every time there would be a WB booth at a Comic Con where they would be promoting any movie, there would be suddenly people just with signs saying release the Snyder Cut in front of them. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm a very cynical person in that sense. I don't believe that because there was a movement, so they decided to spend all that money and release the film. That's not how business works. But they released it because they saw an opportunity and a bunch of things coming together, and including Snyder being interested. And they thought, let's leverage the passion of the fans, because a lot of these movies run on the passion of the fans. So let's leverage that, invest in it. And also, like I said, streaming service is going to launch. This would be a mainstay for that service for a long time to come. And then they kind of gave him a free hand. They said, look, do whatever you want, which is why it's not a movie, it's a 4-part episodic series, kind of like that, right? If I'm correct, that's what
let me intervene. No. Last heard, it's a 4-hour movie.
Well,
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because last when I heard
initially they said they're going to do it
episodic.
episodic.
Episode movie,
yeah, I know.
Now they made a 4-hour movie. Simple.
So look, whatever it is 4 hours. Whether you watch, you will pause it because you will go to the loo. You will probably have to take a breath. And I am not someone who has extremely high expectations out of him, because I think he's an amazingly stylistic filmmaker, but he's not a good storyteller in my opinion. But I will still watch it because I'm very curious what was his vision, and what did they give him the money for, and what was the reshoot for, and they brought him Jared Leto into the movie. Is there a deeper meaning to it or not? And obviously you can read whatever is online, but that doesn't really do justice to what actually it might turn out to be. So yeah, I mean, look, it is I'm not saying that the fans didn't have anything to do with it, with this movie coming out. They obviously do. It was shaming WB into doing this sort of, and pushing them to do this, and the fan service is important.
Can I interrupt you guys for a second? Who is going to
Sure.
watch a 4-hour film?
Well, I think most people will, because in India you already watch 3.5 hours, so it doesn't matter. There is a core set of fans who are going to sit and watch 4 hours.
I'm not really sure, with due respect, because the thing is, yeah, I mean, you can sit and watch a Salman Khan film for like 3 hours, and
I mean, Lord of the Rings extended cut. Who's not seen that? Come on, that's 4.5.
Also, they're not really targeting with this people who are regular moviegoers. They're targeting the people who are hardcore fans, and they're only focusing on the streaming bit. I mean, I've not heard about theater releases. So, I mean, I think no. So whether they choose to watch it or not, this is what they're going to do. And Snyder has a free hand on how long he wants to make it. So that's what's going to come out. And yeah, I mean,
okay, now the Aniruddha. So what is your point on this entire thing? I mean, what is your
I'm guessing we are talking about and driving this and whether there's a point to it. And I think Jatin covers most of the points which I would talk about. But where I disagree with him, I mean, actually 2 points where I disagree, is our long-standing feud which I have with Jatin on Batman versus Superman wasn't bad at all. I liked it. So please. Okay, that's point 1. And number 2, I think one example we do forget about the fan movement and that driving movies is Deadpool. I mean, Deadpool was shelved until someone leaked that test footage and people saw, oh shit, that's a very good movie to make, right? And that sort of catapulted Fox into force Fox into making that movie and getting Ryan Reynolds on board and things like that. So we cannot, I mean, let's say, underplay the impact of what the fan movement was. There were people doing, like Jatin mentioned, people in India were at Comic-Con saying release the Snyder Cut and stuff like that. There are people doing, skywriting in Hollywood. So there is an impact there, and it was required. Zack Snyder, for better or for worse, has that power pull with fans, and he's actually made some very decent movies. I mean, I'm still a fan of his Watchmen, kill me for it. But again, another 4-hour, shot by shot movie. But like that being said, I am okay that he's making that 4-hour movie. But for me, it's like, okay, dude, if we let this happen once, where does this stop? I mean, like I mentioned before we started, when we were chatting, we gave a lot of crap to George Lucas when he decided to remaster and add scenes to the original Star Wars trilogy, right? There is the Daredevil director's cut, which is, quote unquote, much better than the original theatrical release, right? But the benchmark was low there. That being said, where does this stop? I mean, are we going to keep remaking movies again and again? And do understand that this is a different thing. This is not a director's cut here. Again, I will insist, you are taking a different theatrical cut scenes, you're putting it all together, you're adding scenes to it. That's literally a new movie you're making, or a series, or whatever format it comes out in. So where does this stop? I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm happy to see this. I'm more than excited to see this. What happened, what went wrong, what went right. But yeah, I mean, again, fan movement did help. Let's see how this plays out in the future.
Okay, cool. Now my point, I would like to ask Chetan, what's your view on this? Just hold on. I think we have to unmute.
Yeah. From the trailer, we saw that it's a completely different movie. It's not just the actual one shot from the Joss Whedon. It's a differently completely movie. So the expectations of fans are very high. Like you said earlier, it's a messed up CGI. Like for a fan, we had to really disagree with you. Like it's a moment we got after struggling a lot. So saying like that it's a CGI messed up will hurt us fans really. Like if it's a just saying in general term, if the Marvel has done it and you will say, oh, it's a Marvel movie, it's a fantastic movie. Yeah, their CGIs are brilliant. So, and if the DC has done it, you will say, oh, yeah, it's a DC, it's a dark universe, and they don't know how to make a movie. So, from the fans' perspective of view, I'm just taking it in that way.
See, Chetan, let me intervene here for a second.
Yeah.
Aniruddha's point of view is a very, very nuanced, qualitative view. It has got nothing to do with the quality of the content. So I'm assuming what you are talking about is essentially the comic book characters. Now, we can debate what has been made out of those characters, and that, depends on the vision of the filmmaker. Because at somewhere down the lane, you have to realize that Snyder, who's a filmmaker, is a guy for hire. The intellectual property is owned by DC, by Warner Brothers. They hire a person to make a film. He has his vision. Now that vision can be bad or good. So you don't take it personally that there is, these guys are saying that it's a CGI mess. First of all, disclaimer, the movie is still not released. So we can't.
Sorry, I want to make a point. I just want to make a point. No, I didn't hear anyone saying CGI mess.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, no one said
I don't know what you're talking about. What I meant to say was that for example, I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan. I walked out of the last the Jedi because I hated it. I was going to tear down that theater because I was like, what the hell? I spent so much money of my life and time collecting everything from Star Wars, and what did you just do? You made it into a lost episode. But there were people who liked that movie. But that's okay. And you, as a fan, you bhavnao ko aap control karte ho, and then you relax and you're like, it's okay.
We've never interacted with fan clubs, so we really don't
exactly.
know.
So here's the thing.
Here's the
thing. Like for example, I liked Man of Steel, but I was really did not like Batman versus Superman. And I was in the theater with Aniruddha, and I was just looking at him saying, what? What is this? What is this?
And I was going, yeah, popcorn achhi hai, movie achhi hai, kya tu kyun bol raha hai?
No, for example, how can Gotham be right next to the Metropolis? It can't be across the river. That has never existed in DC. Stuff. I was picking apart something. But But again, that is what happens every few years when they reboot these franchises and you come back to a new version of it. You know, for example, the guy who made the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, he said, I have never read a DC comic and I don't even care. I'm not even going to make it like that. It's my take. Now, as a fan of someone who's, you know, probably read every Joker comic out there, that fan could be like, what? How can you do that? But a lot of people like that movie. So yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, we'll have to see when the truth is in the pudding. I mean, you'll have to see when the movie comes out what exactly it is. I hope he's not raised the expectations to a level where you know, too many people will get disappointed. But I have a feeling people who were waiting for this for the longest time are not going to be disappointed. I think they will like it because you know, this even if it has some flaws.
Great. So Chetan, I hope you understood what we are saying.
Yeah.
Now I assume you're happy. Now we're going off to Shivaji Paul. Paul, what's your view on how is this a unique fan moment?
Obviously, fans played a bigger portion of this movement, and if this fan movement did not exist, we don't see Snyder Cut in 2021. Just like actually, you remember before DC fandom came, Zack Snyder held a Man of Steel watch party. So in that watch party, there was a Zoom call, and Henry Cavill was invited as a surprise guest. And in front of everybody, Henry Cavill and Zack Snyder revealed the poster of Snyder Cut, which was going to air on.
That was very intelligent.
Yes. So every fans from every corner of the world was present in that Zoom meeting. So Zack Snyder really cares about his fans. You know, if you follow his Vero account, he always replies to some of his fans and gives some updates about his cut. He's a director who is always interacting with fans. So fans played a bigger role. But just like Jatin said, that Hollywood is all about business. And if Warner Brothers and DC didn't find any business here, then they wouldn't have released this Snyder Cut. And also HBO Max played a very important role to release this Snyder Cut. It is actually, I can say it is 70% fan movement, 30% HBO Max profit, and like this ratio. But fans are always vital. From fans' perspective, 2017 movie was not a movie. It was a Frankenstein monster that was released.
No, you're right. You're totally right. I mean, you just said it. You said it right. You know, everything came together in such a right manner. Yeah. And the fans, basically, if the fans didn't exist, this movie would not be happening. If there was no.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, that 2017 movie was a complete disaster. Fans started demanding Snyder Cut every way it was possible. They even, hosted banners, and they were flying banners over Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con. Even I have seen billboards over a lot of places in US. Even a FA Cup match, there was a release the Snyder Cut banner, and fans was like they were very desperate. And the fan movement, I have never seen any more such fan movement in any of the nerd communities, like you say Star Wars, Star Trek, or Marvel, in fact, because this is a very unique in nature. And after all these struggles, and finally Warner Brothers and AT&T, all the persons from the studio listened to what the fans wanted, and they gave us the proper cut. Now, previously we discussed about is it a movie that is being remade, or it's a new movie? Yes, it is a new movie in some sort, but actually it follows it is following very faithful to the vision of Zack Snyder, original vision of the Zack Snyder. Okay. So that's very important. Because Joss Whedon reshooted some scenes for the movie of 2017, but it was not up to the mark. People were not satisfied with that. So what we are going to see, it's a very glimpse that we got from the trailer. It's very satisfying from the fan point of view. So we are going in the right direction, and fans are satisfied at this moment. And let's see.
Okay. So now my point on this entire discussion is that, look, So if you look at the trailer now, they had a lot of logistical challenges. They were in the middle of a pandemic. They had a huge cast to deal with, to remake and all. So you have to assume there is a lot of CGI already involved. Now the point is that if you look at it, the cost of producing a film like this is massive, because you had a Wonder Woman release which was coming, the 1984 film which came out in December, which apparently is also a horrible film as far as I am concerned. And that's where another question happens, like, what is the strategy of these guys moving forward as a studio? What are they doing? Are they doing anything out of the box? They had a big home run with Joker, which was, but then again, Joker has been debated. It's not part of the original DCU. It's a standalone character as it has come out. So the real issue which we have to look at is that it has been made in a lot of constraints. So you have this dream sequence in which he's separate, Jared Leto has been introduced in it. So it looks like a bit of a patchwork, not because he wanted to make it a patchwork, but it looks like a lot of patching happened because of the constraints he was in. That's my view. And unless and until we see the whole film, we cannot say anything about it. Okay, Regan, you have exactly 60 seconds now. Please, you can give your view.
No, all I want to say is I completely agree that the original movie was a bit of a people came out of I saw the film at the press screener, and I also deliberately do that for morning shows to just gauge crowd reaction. And the purpose of putting out a film, ultimately, when you cut down to the grassroots of it, is to see audience reaction. And I saw audience reaction, and audience reaction was they came out of the cinema staggering, like as if they've been in the ring with Mike Tyson. And that's not really a good thing. That's not a good thing. People were like, my God, what is this? I cannot understand head for tail.
So what Regan is trying to say is that movie viewers were also not very happy. The audience reaction was also not very good. It was not a crowd.
Yeah, they were bamboozled.
See, according to me, the big problem.
No, they were like, my God, what is this?
I think there is some problem with your sound. Just I'll just get to Jatin.
We want to see Apna. Yeah, I know.
Okay, now what I'm thinking is, Jatin, just coming back to the point now. How are we viewing this entire thing in India, as this whole thing is panning out, this movie is releasing. Now, this is where the real problem lies. And I think this discussion, a lot of people will agree that Warner Brothers doesn't have any defined strategy for DC in India. I mean, till date, we have been, just harping over when will this release? Will it be a torrent? Some people are saying whether it will release in the theaters. HBO Max is not present in India. There is no visible licensing, marketing around merchandise. The only little traction you see is because of these licensees like Sold Store, Red Wolf, Bewakoof, all these guys. They are pushing the Justice League merch, which was there since 2017. I think a lot of the real problem I've seen is that now comparing to Marvel, Marvel as a polar opposite of DC, it makes a lot of effort in reaching out to Indian consumers and consumers in general. I mean, they build a product for the family rather than for the adult audience. Like if you look at it, DC stuff is largely not, you can't call it like real family stuff. On the other hand, Marvel every day makes one or two extra steps over going towards the family audience, barring Deadpool and X-Men, which is not that much into the Avengers universe. What is your view? How is India receiving this? How is it going to play out in India? What is your view on that?
I don't agree with you totally on whether DC releases. The thing is, it's a very different thing. It depends, on the fact that Marvel, which is Disney, and Disney India is very well structured and present in India, and has been there in a very consolidated manner since almost 2011-12. Because DC,
the first Iron Man, second Iron Man.
DC, on the other hand, with the exception of comic books, which hasn't been, Disney doesn't look into it. So Marvel Comics hasn't really done anything for India other than have a distribution partner, which is also not very settled. DC, on the other hand, the comic books have had some sort of semblance of, a strategy, which is that supply the latest stuff, and I don't mean singles because that's not for India. That means TPBs, graphic novels, or whatever, and that comes through Penguin Random House, and they've been pretty consistently at it, and there's no problem on that end. Licensing, everything else is different, so it's different entities dealing with different things, and they don't always coordinate or talk to each other because it's not one entity legally. So which is why you might feel that somehow Marvel in India has a more like a slightly more well planned rollout when something happens. The other thing is, and that's always been the case for the past 10 years, and also that's how it is. And I mean, I won't really say that DC does a lot of fan stuff, which is for kids also. I mean, it depends on what you're looking into. Marvel, because it's part of Disney, by default does a lot more family stuff, and that's just a Disney thing, in my opinion. I mean, I may be wrong. Coming to the India bit, yeah, I mean, I'll be very brutally honest. We're a market of some importance and resonance, but not the most, or at least in the top 3. So they will service us and they will come to us once they've sorted out their story in the other markets. So for example, they're not sure if this movie is releasing in China right now, how it will. So so our number will come eventually. It's basically look, it's not about that there are fans in India who are less passionate or something. It has nothing to do with that. It's the size of the market and how much money we spend on it, and they'll figure it out. I mean, because their focus is right now the American market and everywhere else where they're going to make
It's just
HBO Max available. And yeah, I mean, I look, to be fair, in my opinion, they will for sure have some sort of a tie-up, if not immediately at the release. Subsequently later, where you could see Snyder Cut on some streaming service which is available in India. I don't see it releasing in the theaters here for sure, but that's how it is. That's how it plays. So it's just the fact of life. Till then, I'm sure Indian fans will find a way of watching it, and people are going to watch it no matter what. So it is up to HBO and Warner Brothers to figure out how they could capitalize that and make it, you take money from us to watch, for us to watch that film.
Okay, cool. So Jatin's view is more nuanced. What he's saying is there has to be a consumer number, revenue, profitability. Now, Aniruddha, now what's your view for India?
Okay, so I think, yeah, like Jatin said, I mean, it's not clear right now what their strategy was, because I mean, even if you look at Wonder Woman 84, I don't think they had a streaming option available. It was theaters only, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, because none of the platforms, even you could like sort of pay for the movie, pay-per-view kind of a thing you could do for Wonder Woman 84. Now, I am assuming that's going to be their strategy for Zack Snyder's Justice League as well. That being said, most of the HBO Max catalog is usually on Disney Hotstar, and it would have been fun to see Zack Snyder's Justice League on Disney Hotstar. So I was just hoping that would happen, because that would be really funny. But I don't know. I'm also lost right now what their strategy is in terms of distribution, because again, like you see from Shivaji and you see from Chetan, right? I mean, there is a massive following there who will watch it no matter what, right? Why would you want to lose out on that money, even though it might be a low priority market? So if you just make it pay-per-view, I am sure an average DC fan would not mind just paying $200-300 just to stream it on their TV. So look, I'm going to wait and watch. I actually don't have a comment on this, but I really think it's not. Like,
I just want to mention, by the way, Wonder Woman is on BMS stream, which is Book My Show stream. They have Tenet also, and that's not for $200-300. What year are you living in now? Movies cost $600. So
no, I agree. But was it? Now, here's my question: Was it on BMS stream the moment it came out?
No, it did. But
but
considering that it's only about maybe a month and a half later, it's available. So I have a feeling they'll probably do something like that, because theaters are not going to be the place for this.
See,
that works.
I think there is one more point which we all are missing is we are in the middle of a pandemic, and theaters are already struggling to revive their basic audience. They're already redoing their own business as a whole. I mean, if you look at HBO Max as a product category, it has been the biggest disruptor within the Warner Media complex. A lot of people have been let go. A lot of restructuring has happened, and the new CEO they have, Jason Kilar from Hulu. He has put everything onto the HBO Max bandwagon. If you today you ask what is Warner's future play, it's HBO Max. That's where they want to go. Okay.
So then they should be here in India. That's the whole thing.
They're not in India. So yeah, back to the point. And spoken to my friends in Warner Media India, they still don't have a clue until next year, last quarter. They have no signals on when HBO Max will come to India. Not at all. Okay, Chetan, your view on how it will be received in India. What is the thing in India according to you?
During the past week, we were conducting some discussions on the Snyder Cut. So the main thing that fans want to know is that will there be a release in India? Like will some platform take it and just release it in India? But as of now, there has been no confirmation from Warner Brothers and also from HBO Max whether it will be released in India or not. And the thing is that if they are releasing it on a platform, I'm sure that many of us fans will pay and watch it. The reason I can say that confidently is that because during the January the release of Wonder Woman in Kerala, all the theaters are shut down. But still, some of our fans went to the nearby states in Karnataka, Bangalore, and we watched the film there. And we posted on the social media, and we got nice reactions, and like we got many good comments, and which build our confidence in our fan community. So saying that for Snyder Cut movement in India was one of the big things because fans participation was high, and so if they are not releasing it in India, it would be like an injustice towards the fan. Like from DC Fans Kerala, we got many daily. Our inbox is filled with like this thing, like will there be a Snyder Cut release in India? Like so, we are all saying that admins we are all messaging it that there is no confirmation from WB and Warner Media yet about the release of Snyder Cut. So for us fans, it's a very disappointing thing that we are forced to pay it on a pirated thing. Like the Wonder Woman.
I think that's a real irony. I totally get you.
Yeah,
totally get your point, and I think that is something. Shibaji, what's your view on this?
Rahul, just to give you an update, yesterday night Zack Snyder tweeted something from his Twitter handle that the Justice League will be available on the same day, that is March 18, on demand, digital download or any streaming platform. That depends on the availability of the platforms in the respective countries. So we are expecting a release maybe on Google Play Movies, or they will have a tie-up with Netflix or Amazon Prime India. We don't know yet. So I think there will be a way. They will figure out a way how to give us the view or to watch the Snyder Cut legally. We do not want to pirate the movie. We will have an option at least. Maybe it will cost a little bit more, 600 or 700 rupees.
Well,
but we will have an option.
See, we already have now. This is the real problem. When you look at studios, the way they work. Now, HBO, as of now, on streaming in a very funny way, is available on Disney Plus in India. This is the funny bit. So, of course, but what they've done is scientifically, DC is available on Amazon Prime and on Netflix largely as content properties. But great. So we have a full view now, and I think we are waiting for the March 18th when the movie releases. Any final, now we'd like to have final comments from all of you. Jatin, what's your final view and your message to Indian fans about the Snyder Cut?
I don't have a message to Indian fans. I'm sure they're already super excited for it. And I mean, let's be very honest. Even if you don't think you have high expectations, you're still gonna watch it because I'm very curious what he did with the movie, and for 4 hours. So I'm hoping that there is a easier way of with OTT and all of these streaming platforms, it's convenient to kind of just watch it without it being extremely expensive. So I'm hoping that they find a solution where we can, if not on the same day, but at least soon enough, watch it at our leisure on a platform. And like Shivaji said, he wants the director wants it to be aired everywhere simultaneously, or at least have the option. So I'm hoping that that happens in India, and fans in India should be super happy one way or the other. They're gonna get the Snyder Cut finally, and we'll all finally get to see what Zack Snyder's vision was, and then we can maybe do another debate on whether that vision was good or bad or whatever it was.
Aniruddha, your final views.
Right. So, I mean, my first most exciting thing in terms of what I want to see is how does Henry Cavill look without the mustache or the CGI mustache, right? So I am totally looking forward to that. But that being said, but I am again like I may have brought up some points which may seem negative, but both as a Marvel and DC fan, I'm totally looking forward to it. I'm like Jatin, curious as to what this is going to turn out to be, whether those additional footage or the original cut, sort of makes it a much more better movie than the original Justice League theatrical release, right? And I hope we don't have to pirate it and it's there directly for streaming. I'm more than happy to pay money and find out. And that's something I'm hoping, both Warner Brothers, HBO, or whoever, which platform, they figure that out. Because I think Indian fans like totally want to pay money for this. We are more than happy to do that. And they should let us, instead of going through nefarious routes. So that's the message. I mean, Warner Brothers, wake up, give us the movie.
I just want to make a point about this. It's not about negativity about anything. It's you're a fan. Like, I'm a jaded fan because I've been through this for many franchisees. Iron Man 3, people forget. It's about for this movie, honestly, is big for everyone, even people who probably didn't like Zack Snyder, because this is honestly letting him have the budget and the time to do whatever he wants. That he didn't get to do that in Batman vs Superman. He didn't technically get to do that in Man of Steel also, so this is like saying, here, this is a canvas, you're the artist, go wild and do whatever the hell you want, and here's whatever the money you need to make it done. So I think even if whether you like him or don't like him or whatever it is, it's certainly going to be unique. I don't think that's really what happens when it comes to making all these massive movies, because it's a huge investment and there's a lot riding on their commercial success. But that's not the case for something like this, because it's coming on streaming and it's not about ticket sales per se. It's more about eyeballs on that platform, and obviously using this to leverage the fan service movement.
Superb. I think Regan, we have lost his connection. So Chetan, your final views.
Yeah, I'm super excited for its release, and let's hope it doesn't do what the earlier version of Justice League we saw. The thing is that the earlier version, it was a complete joke. It's like fans like to think it's a parody of the Justice League. Like, the actual version of Batman was like the scene I was most frustrated was that when Batman forced him, he said something's desperately bleeding. Like I hated that scene so much that. I can express it right now. Like the Batman should be the DC we saw from the earlier movies, that it was not the George Clooney one or Adam West one. The Batman overall, it's a DC overall is a somewhat more aggressive, so much seriousness. But the Vendetta Cut was like he tried to do what he did to Avengers, like to entertain the audience. He just add up some made up jokes and somehow Avengers worked, but still that doesn't apply to Justice League. We need Superman and Batman to be as they are. And as the thing, one more thing I'd like to add is that in the thing about the Batman vs Superman, we saw that Batman and Superman killing, like their policy is not to kill the person, and Batman has no, his policy is no gun policy. And we saw that he's using gun and Superman killing. So at that time, there was great criticism from the fans regarding their killing policy. So in the Snyder Cut, we all know that it's mainly following the Nightmare timeline. So we can see more killing. But I think for a certain part of fans, it would be like a disagreement towards him.
Perfect. So again, we are having opinions from fans, and they are really romanticizing their love for this entire movement of these characters, and I really respect that. Shibaji, your final views quickly, please. We have very less time.
Okay, so it is very clear that it is not a US-based movement; it is a worldwide movement. So from each corner of the world, every fans contributed and did the hashtag movement starting from 2017, and now finally it is releasing. That's the big plus for us. We do not care that it is imperfect or not. It is the CGI is not up to the mark. Ultimately, we are seeing a vision which was going to come at 2017, but better late than ever. So we are getting the cut. That's the main thing for us. We don't see we don't see the movie as the critics do or the YouTubers, whatever. We as a fan will enjoy each moment, each frame of the cut, and let's see how it goes. Hope everything goes well.
Superb.
So,
Superb. This was a very, very enlightening and a very interesting session on Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I would like to thank all of you for this very interesting session wherein we spoke from the perspective of fans, from the perspective of comic book writers, artists, from the organizers of pop culture events, and from film reviewers. The whole thing is that this is a very, very unique moment, and DC should do maximum to reach out to their fans in the biggest possible way they can. And I would say that one thing which we all have missed out on, I think I would just like to add, is this entire Snyder verse is heavily influenced by Nolan. You need to look at that before Snyder was given the mantle for Man of Steel. You need to remember that both Christopher Nolan and his wife Emma Thomas were producers of Man of Steel, and they have added their touch to Snyder how to look at superheroes. So if you look at Dark Knight, all the three Dark Knight trilogy was made in a very different way as the predecessor Batman movies. So I think somewhere down the lane, there is a Christopher Nolan influence on Snyder. I think we all can agree to that, I guess. There is some level of involvement, because you have to remember one thing, that the way these two universes of DC and Marvel look, Marvel is like a out and out crowd pleaser. I mean, there are portions of Avengers wherein, that scene in which, Caps takes the Thor hammer. I've seen, children and kids shouting at the top of their voices in theaters in India. It's been made to be a crowd pleaser. On the other hand, DC movies are very nuanced. They're very human. They have a very nuanced view of humanity. It just doesn't say everything is good or everything is bad. It's more mature. But having said that, this was a great session. I would like to thank Shivaji Paul, founder of the DC community of Bengal, Chetan from DC Fans Kerala, Aniruddha from Chariot Comics, and our dear friend Jatin Verma, founder of Comic Con India, and my co-editor Regan for this very, very interesting session. Many thanks for joining. This is Rahul, your film